everyone, welcome to a new video. Recently I've done 2 book haul videos, so I figured it was time to do a book unhaul video. So that's what we're doing today. I have a big box full of books right here next to me. I'm not going to go in any particular order. I'm just going to reach in and grab what's in there. Over the course of last year, I've just been putting random books into this box. If you see any books that you might be interested in reading, even though I may not like them, they could work for you. I'm going to be selling them all on pangobooks.com for cheap, so if you want to head over there and buy some books for yourself, then go ahead and do so. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the one on top is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This one, I'm just not really into fantasy so much anymore, and it is YA, and honestly, the love interest in this book did not work for me. He was toxic, he was terrible, and I was never going to root for them to be together. And there was some other problematic things with the book, so I didn't even end up finishing this book. So I'm going to give it away so somebody else could enjoy it. And then we have The Strain. So this one I haven't actually read, so it probably is a really good book. But I started watching the TV series, and when I see the movie first or the TV series first, I have a hard time going and reading the book. I know that sounds terrible, but I'm like, oh, I already know the story. I already know what's going on. And so it becomes a low priority, and I have so many physical books on my TBR that I figured by the time I get to this, it's going to be in like 10 years. So I might as well just get rid of it and let somebody else enjoy it and just watch the TV show, which I know is terrible, but it is what it is. And then we have Homeless Bird by Gloria Whalen. This one is like a children's classic, and I've had it for years and years and years, but I just never read it, and I'm like, you know what, I'm probably never going to read this, honestly. I forget I even have it most of the time. So if anybody has this book as their childhood favorite, then I should be able to give it to them, that somebody else is going to have nostalgia over it or want to read it to their kids or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and unhaul it. The next one is Ghost Abbey. This is a Pointora book. Sorry, the ring light's making that terrible. Okay, so this one I already have another copy, and this is a library edition that I got from a library sale, so it has like the stickers and the marks of a library book, and so I'm going to keep my other copy and give this one away. Then I have Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I absolutely love her Jack the Ripper books. They're fantastic, and so I was very excited to read this one. But honestly, it just wasn't really my thing. I just couldn't get into it. I didn't really like the characters. There were some things that were a little too convenient. I don't know, I just didn't really care for this one. But for some reason, I went ahead and went out and bought the second book when it came out. I just loved the cover, and I was like, well, maybe I should give it a second chance. Maybe I just need to read it. But honestly, I bought it, and then it sat on my shelves for years, you know? So I'm probably never going to read this. So I just need to give it to somebody else that's going to. Okay, then we have The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. I read the X-Hex last October, and I really liked it in the beginning, and then once they started having sex, it was like all about the sex, and I wasn't really into the fantasy elements. I thought they were a little bit, I don't know, easy, simple, I don't know. By the end of that book, I just really didn't like it. And I already had a copy of the second book from Book of the Month Club, but because I didn't like the first book, I don't think I'm going to read the second one. Okay, so now we have A Shadow Bright and Burning and A Poison Dark and Drowning by Jessica Cluess. So this one I did enjoy for the most part, but I wasn't like obsessed with it, and I wasn't like, it was okay. It was like a 3-star. And I just don't feel the need to keep a 3-star in my shelves taking up space when I'm probably not even going to read the last book in the trilogy. So this is about a witch that goes into like some kind of academy, and it's during like Victorian times, which are all things I love and enjoy, but I don't know, there was like a love triangle that I wasn't really into, and like I said, I'm just not really into fantasy that much anymore. And I don't know, I enjoyed them for the most part, but I wasn't dying to read the next one or anything, so I'm just gonna get rid of them. Okay, then we have The Chill by Scott Carson. This one I got at a library sale, so at least it was cheap, but I don't know, I just haven't heard very good things in reviews that I've read about this book. I've heard it's very slow and pretty boring. So, you know, it's a low priority, and I'm like, I'm honestly probably never going to get to this, so just give it to somebody else that will enjoy it. Then we have The Golden Compass. So again, this one's kind of like the other children's book where it's not something I grew up or was obsessed with as a child, and so I don't have those nostalgic feelings for it, and so I just don't feel the need to keep it anymore. And we have some more kids' books. We have The Wide Awake Princess and The Frog Princess. These were my daughter's, but she's not really much of a reader, unfortunately, and they've just been sitting in her room forever, and we finally went through her room to get rid of toys because she doesn't have enough room in her room for any more. So I told her she needs to get rid of things, but she's such a hoarder and wants to hold on to everything. So she did say, well, let's get rid of these, and which kind of made me sad because I'm like, no, not books. But you know, if she doesn't want them, I would keep them, but then it's taking up space on my shelves for books that I'm probably not going to read. So I don't know, just let some other kid that does read enjoy them. And then I have The Tales of Beetle the Bard, and I love Harry Potter and everything, but I don't know. I mean, it's just like a filler book of short stories. Like, I just don't feel the need to hang on to this. And then I have Superstitious by R.L. Stine. I was really excited for this because I was like, wow, an adult book from R.L. Stine, that's going to be awesome. But I think he had the same problem as J.K. Rowling, where the first book after the kids' books end up being a little too adult. Like, they're trying too hard to be like, this is an adult book. So I hear there's like a lot of sexual stuff in this or something. So I was like, maybe I don't want to read this. You know, I don't want the same experience I had reading The Vacancy by J.K. Rowling. I was super mad about that book, and I don't want that to happen with this one. So I'm just going to get rid of it. And then we have Uglies by Scott Westerfeld. I really like Scott Westerfeld's books, but this one again was just like a 3-star, 3.5 star. And I never read the rest of the series. I bought this probably 15 years ago, and I always like, oh, I can't get rid of it because I gotta finish the series. But I'm like, you know, if I haven't finished the series and it's been that long, I'm probably never going to, honestly. So I just need to get rid of this. Because It's My Blood by Gabrielle Zevin. This one I'm getting rid of because I have a duplicate copy of it. So. Then we have One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. Everybody seemed obsessed with this book when it came out, and honestly, I didn't really like it. I thought the reveal of who the killer was super obvious, and I wasn't like super invested in the characters because it was more about the characters instead of the mystery and the thriller aspects, and that's not what I wanted. And so it was okay, but it wasn't like a favorite. So I'm going to give it to somebody that will enjoy and appreciate it, because I know a lot of people do like this book. And I went ahead and bought the second book, but I don't think I'm ever going to read it. I didn't like the first one, so why would I read the second one? So. Then we have Cadaver and Queen by Elisa K. Whitney, and this one makes me sad because this cover is gorgeous, and I love Frankenstein retellings, but this one, I don't know, she was kind of having romantic sexual feelings towards Frankenstein's monster, and it was kind of cringy, and there was other aspects of the book that I didn't really like, so it just wasn't quite for me. Then we have The Ghost Line. This is a horror sci-fi book, and it was just okay. I mean, I didn't think it was anything incredible, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. Then we have Shipbreaker and the Drowned Cities, and I actually really do like this duology. I thought it was really fun. It's like a dystopian YA books, but I really did enjoy them and like them when I read them like 20 years ago, but I'm never going to reread them, and they're just taking up space, so I'm just going to get rid of them. Then we have Generation Dead by Daniel Waters. This is a zombie YA book, or book series, I should say, and I really like that series. I think it's very unique and very fascinating, and I really enjoyed it. But this fourth book, it's not really part of the series. It's like short stories set in the same world or with the same characters type book, and so it was a fun time reading it, but it's not something I feel like I need to keep or hold on to. And then we have Lady of Quality by Georgette Heyer. I know a lot of people are huge fans of Georgette Heyer. She's kind of hit or miss for me. Most of them I feel like kind of boring. There's only one so far that I've read from her that I actually enjoyed. So I'm going to give this to somebody else. Then we have the Partials trilogy by Dan Wells. So you have the first book, the second book, which is Fragments, and then Ruins is the third book. And this is like the Drowned Cities and Shipbreaker, where I really did enjoy them and I liked reading them, but I'm just never going to reread them, and it's kind of past my era of reading YA dystopian novels, so I'm just going to give it to somebody else that will enjoy them. Because how many times can I say that sentence? Then I have The Bone Code by Kathy Reichs. So this one I discovered I have the ebook already, and so I'm just going to get rid of this so that I get more space on my shelves and I can still read it later on my Kindle, or I don't have a Kindle, but the Kindle app on my phone. Then we have Madam or Madame, I don't know how you want to pronounce that, but by Phoebe Wynn. And this one, it just wasn't really for me. It sounded really good. It had like Victorian Gothic vibes, and it was set at a school, and dark secrets at the school. But when the reveal started happening of what was really going on at the school, I just kind of rolled my eyes. It just wasn't something I cared about, so it just wasn't for me. Then we have The Tutor's Daughter by Julie Glasson. And again, this is one I actually did enjoy reading at the time. It's pretty long for a romance, but I really did enjoy my time with it. But again, I'm never going to reread this, and it's not like an all-time favorite, so I'm just going to give it away. Then we have All I Want for Christmas by Maggie Knox. I read The Holiday Swap and I absolutely loved it, and so I was very excited to read another book by this author, but unfortunately this one just wasn't for me. I just was not vibing with it at all. Then we have People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I know some people really like this book, but I found it extremely boring, and it's like a friends to lovers, and that's just not my favorite trope, and so I did not like this book at all. Then we have The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Again, this is one I know everybody loves and obsessed with and talks about, but I just thought it was okay. Like, I don't know, I wanted there to be more character work, I wanted more romance, I wanted more magic. I just wanted more from it than what I got. I thought it was pretty superficial, even though it was like super long. I just feel like there wasn't a lot to it. Then we have My Dearest Darkest by Kayla Cunningham. I really enjoyed her new book about the ghouls that cannibalize people. I thought that one was really good, but this one, I don't know, it just felt very YA and it was enjoyable, but it wasn't like a favorite, so I just don't feel the need to hang on to it. I'm so sad about this next one. So the next one is Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. I know people are obsessed with this series, and I just want to ask them why. Why are you obsessed with this series? I love science fiction, and I was very excited to get into another like epic space opera, but no, I just didn't like this one. I didn't like the characters at all, any of them. It was very superficial, very light. I wanted more world building about the politics and about the war between Mars and Earth and the belt, and I don't know, it just wasn't for me. I just didn't really like it. And then when there ended up being like space zombies, which sounds like I would like that, I just was like, eh. I don't know. This one just didn't work for me. I just didn't like this one. And I hear a lot of people say that the first book is the best in the series. And if that's the case, then I'm definitely not going to be moving on. So there's no point in keeping this. Okay, then I have Everland and Umberland by Wendy Spinell. These are like fairy tale retellings. This is Peter Pan and this is Alice in Wonderland. And they were okay. It was kind of like that Victorian witch one where I only had the first two books. It's like that. I'm never going to read the third book because they were just okay. They weren't like an all-time favorite. They're nothing I was jumping up and down to go get the next one. So there's really no point in keeping these. Okay, then we have Midnight Fright, a collection of ghost stories. I wanted to keep this because it's ghost stories and I love ghost stories, but I'm just not really into short story collections. There's just not really my thing, and I can just tell that I'm never going to get to this. So give it to somebody else who can read it and will enjoy it. Okay, so I got A Quiet Retreat by Kirsten Magdalene. I did not like this book. It started out really good about a group of writers that went to a writing retreat, but there was like two timelines, and one timeline I just thought was juvenile and ridiculous. I was just rolling my eyes. It just wasn't well written. And then the past one, I really was enjoying the past perspective, but by the end, it's only kind of connected to the plot in a really weird way, and I didn't like the twist in this book, and it just wasn't for me. Okay. Then we have A Painted House by John Grisham. I really did enjoy this book at the time of reading it, but I'm never going to reread it, and it's not like an all-time favorite, so I don't want it taking up space on my shelves. Then Robin Cook, Blind Sight. This one sounds really intriguing and interesting, and I did plan on reading this at some point, but I've had it for so long. Like, I've had it for 10 plus years, and if I haven't reached for it by then, I'm probably never going to get to it, honestly. So even though it does sound interesting, I am tempted to keep it. Maybe leave me a comment in the comment section below if you think I should read it, if it's like really, really good. But honestly, I just never reach for it. So away it goes. And same with Coma by Robin Cook, same thing. Sounds really interesting, sounds really intriguing, but I just never reach for it. So, and then we have the Nancy Drew Files. This is, I don't know, like a break-off or a spin-off series of Nancy Drew or something. But I only have the one book. It's not like I have a collection or something. So I'm like, I'm probably never going to read this. And it's just going to be sitting there because it's Nancy Drew. But I'm just going to give this to somebody that would appreciate it more than I would. Then I have Horrible Histories, The Measly Middle Ages. So this one I mostly grabbed because I'm currently writing a book about zombies set in medieval times, and so it was just this cute little quick book about terrible things that people did in the medieval times when it came to like medicine and stuff. So I just thought it would be a fun, quick, easy like research book almost, you know, because it is nonfiction, but it's geared towards kids. But yeah, I don't need to read this again or keep it. So. And then I have The Babysitters 2 by R.L. Stine. I'm only giving this away because I already have this. This is a duplicate copy. So there you have it. That's all the books I'm planning on giving away. Hopefully you saw something that you would want to go buy and have a book haul for yourself. Let me know in the comments of these books, do you think I should keep any of them because they're really, really good and I should try them out if I haven't read them? Or tell me which ones are your favorites or which ones did you not also like. We can discuss them, and I will catch you in the next video. See ya.